It's here. Amazon Prime Big Deal Days. I absolutely love this sale. It's happening today and tomorrow. If you're not familiar, it is a great sale to take advantage of to save a ton of money restocking skincare and beauty staples. Also get a jump on holiday shopping. I often find that I end up buying some wardrobe staples that are just sort of randoms like socks and whatnot because the prices in the sale are so good. You don't want to miss out. And in today's video, as per usual, I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 skincare and beauty picks that are going to be majorly on sale right now. And these are products that I recommend a lot across different videos in no particular order. Coming in number one has to be one of those products that I recommend that I hear the most from people saying, oh my gosh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I discovered this product after you talked about it. It has completely changed my feet for the better, and that is the Carousel Intensive Foot Ointment. This is a foot ointment for dry, cracked heels, rough, dry skin on the feet. Once you start using this ointment, you'll find that you don't really need to go in and have the salon scrape away the callus so that your feet are sandal ready. It's amazing. Not only for hydrating and exfoliating away a dry, rough callus and the dry, flaky skin, but it's also really good for your toenails. It's got urea and salicylic acid. Together, those really help with nail plate hydration, and they help with the skin around the nails, the nail folds, to be hydrated and protective to limit access of water and microbes up under the nail that can disrupt nail plate growth and, of course, make you vulnerable to toenail fungus. This is a product I recommend in so many videos where I talk about dry, cracked heels. One skin change many women experience as they go through menopause that is not talked about enough. With the decline in estrogen, of course, your skin becomes dry, but a lot of women start experiencing profound dry, cracked heels. That's known as keratoderma climactericum. This right here, amazing for that condition. Now, it is intensive, as the name implies. For me personally, I'm someone who walks a fair amount, runs a fair amount, and I find that I have to be careful and not use it daily. I only use it a couple of times a week at this point as maintenance. If I use it daily, because it is intense, I find that it makes the outer protective layer a little bit too smooth, and as a result I become more vulnerable to blisters. But it's wonderful. Highly recommend it. Fragrance free, and like I said, it's something I've been recommending a long time. Put it on after your shower at night, and ideally you're going to cover it with socks so that as you walk around, you're not walking around barefoot and rubbing the ointment all over your floors. It's staying on your feet. Yeah, a little bit's going to get into the sock, but it's also going to end up right back on your skin. That's the best way to take advantage of this. If you hate wearing socks, just try and hang out that way for at least an hour to really let it soak in. Ideally though, you keep them on overnight and it really locks in hydration and helps quite a bit. All right, moving on. This is not something that most people would ever consider a beauty product per se, but let me tell you, it can make a difference in a variety of skin and scalp and hair concerns, and that is the Nizoral Anti-Dandruff Shampoo. The active ingredient in this anti-dandruff shampoo is ketoconazole, an antifungal. The way this shampoo works for dandruff is it helps cut down on the burden of Malassezia yeast via that ketoconazole, and ultimately that is the yeast that is responsible for dandruff. So it helps control flakes by controlling the yeast. But a lot of people don't really necessarily have a flaky scalp, but they get these little patches of greasy, scaly red skin on like the forehead, between the brows, around the nose. And if you have a deeper skin tone, those patches, they can heal with a white spot hypopigmentation. That is seborrheic dermatitis, which is basically dandruff, but on non-scalp locations. And you can actually use this shampoo as a face wash to help control that, because that Nizoral, that ketoconazole, in the shampoo will help reduce the burden of that yeast. Speaking of facial eruptions related to that yeast, some people deal with what they describe as fungal acne. It's not really acne, it's actually a folliculitis caused by, you guessed it, that pesky little yeast. In contrast to acne, there are no blackheads or whiteheads, but rather these little itchy bumps, often like on the forehead, and it can be mistaken for acne, but doesn't quite respond to the typical acne treatments. This ketoconazole shampoo can help control that condition, clear it up. Then another reason to consider using this as a shampoo is if you are dealing with androgenetic alopecia, pattern hair loss related to the androgen hormones in your follicle's genetic tendency to respond this way, and that is to miniaturize. eyes. And with time, you start getting a widening of the central part in women, receding hairline in both men and women. And it's thought that the ketoconazole and nizoral shampoo can help slow that by interfering with not only the malassezia that generates inflammation that can drive miniaturization, but it may have some anti-androgen effects at the level of the follicle by inhibiting the hair loss hormone, if you will, dihydrotestosterone, that potent form of androgen that is responsible for follicle miniaturization in men and women. Nizoral shampoo is a shampoo that actually can really help with androgenetic alopecia. It's not a cure for it, and it doesn't like make your hair suddenly start growing overnight if you use it, but it can kind of put the brakes on that process to maintain the hair that you have, and it can be used in conjunction with other hair loss treatments. So really a great thing to use, and it can be beneficial. All right, moving on. This is a little bit more of a fun, jazzy one, and that's the CosRx 6 Peptide Skin Booster. I've discovered this a couple of years ago, and I have been recommending it for a while now. What I like about this is it's a peptide serum. Peptides are one of those ingredients that are not necessarily a must-have, but they can, depending on the peptide, reduce wrinkle depth and help with moisture retention in skin's outermost layer, helping to firm the outermost aspect of the skin and kind of have a plumping effect. This product also has niacinamide, which is really good for dark spots, redness, the moisture barrier. It's fragrance-free, and what I love most about it is you get a 150 milliliter bottle. So it's really a great value at baseline, and it performs just as well as the high-end stuff in my experience. As a matter of fact, I have another video comparing it to a very expensive SkinCeuticals peptide serum, and it's like, I see no difference, honestly, in how my skin reacts to either one. So I'm gonna go with the less expensive one. You can use this as the first step in your skincare routine after cleansing. You can layer it underneath moisturizer, underneath other serums. It sort of preps the skin as well by hydrating it to allow for better penetration, perhaps, of other ingredients. So that's one I really liked a lot. Here's one that anytime I talk about retinol, a cosmetic form of vitamin A that when applied to the skin can improve the visible signs of skin aging, can improve collagen production with long-term consistent use, though that is not a claim that brands can make because it is not a cosmetic claim, and retinol is a cosmetic ingredient. Retinol that I recommend the most is the Neutrogena Rapid Wrinkle Repair Regenerating Retinol Cream, the fragrance-free one, for a couple of reasons. First of all, long-standing track record from this brand of high-quality, stable, and effective retinols. Like, they were there from the get-go formulating retinol when it first came onto the scene. They are the ones who had their hands at the bench actively doing the retinol development for cosmetic use. The thing about their retinol is that it is a sustained action and slow release formula. They're not the only ones that have a retinol with these properties, but it is ideal for allowing for sustained action and slow release to minimize irritation. Retinol is an ingredient that if you've never used it before, be aware that after a couple of weeks with it, you can start to get some redness, some irritation, some peeling. The thing I like though the most about this formula is not only the efficacy of the retinol for improving the visible signs of skin aging, but the cream itself is very rich, very hydrating, very moisturizing. It has this instant gratification effect just by virtue of the moisturizer itself. So it's a really thick, luxurious cream, and you can use it, of course, on the face. It's not recommended to use it around the eyes. It's not formulated to go there. They do have an eye cream version of it, and I think that is a better alternative around the eyes because the consistency is a lot more amenable to use around the eyes. It's less likely to run into your eyes in comparison to if you use this cream around the eyes. I've had good success using it on my neck, my upper chest as well, without any irritation. Highly recommend it if you are interested in trying retinol OL for cosmetic rejuvenation purposes. On the flip side, you might actually have acne, and your dermatologist may tell you to use this. That is Differin Gel. Differin Gel is Adapalene, an FDA-approved over-the-counter acne medication. It is a retinoid. It actually can make the claim that it treats acne. Retinol is a cosmetic. It can't make the claim that it treats acne. So if you have acne, I think Adapalene is the best over-the-counter option as opposed to retinol for that reason. But it has other benefits as far as using it for acne, aside from helping to clear up and prevent further breakouts. And that is, it can reduce the risk of and improve existing post-acne marks, redness, dark marks. Adapalene is anti-inflammatory. Now, I often get a lot of questions about, well, what about using Adapalene for improving the visible signs of skin aging? You can use it that way. It has been shown to improve collagen production. It's been shown to lighten age spots. It can be used on the backs of the hands, the face. So a lot of people would much rather use Adapalene than a retinol because it's a medication and not a cosmetic, whereas other people don't get along with Adapalene. It may be a little bit more irritating in comparison to retinol, though it is pretty gentle. And so, it's kind of a matter of personal decision. CeraVe, they dip their toes in the hair care waters, and for me personally, they have not disappointed. The shampoos and the conditioners from CeraVe are wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. The hydrating shampoo and conditioner is just a basic daily shampoo and conditioner, especially suitable for people who have maybe more of a drier scalp, more of a drier hair type, and it does have niacinamide in it, but that's good for reducing inflammation in the scalp. I love these. I just finished like my second bottle of the hydrating shampoo. I love them because they're fragrance free. They're relatively affordable at baseline. In addition to the daily shampoo, they also have anti-dandruff shampoo, anti-dandruff conditioner, and a 2-in-1 anti-dandruff shampoo and conditioner. All fragrance free, all really good. I reviewed these and I have continued to use them over and over again. They're some of my all-time favorites because if you're allergic to fragrance, we at least have quite a few options these days for skincare, but hair care is so I'm really glad to have that line available. Okay, moving on to a facial cleanser that I really loved. Took me forever to finish up. Used it daily in the morning for what felt like 6 months. I want to say that's accurate. 5 to 6 months. The Eucerin Radiant Tone Face Cleansing Gel with 2% AHA. Okay, so the 2% AHA alpha hydroxy acid is glycolic and lactic. And what I really liked about this cleansing gel is I liked using it as a first step of my skincare routine in the morning because it allows for some gentle exfoliation by virtue of both the acids and simply the action of washing your face helps to exfoliate. But it also is really gentle, and the alpha hydroxy acids, they can remain behind on the skin to have sustained effects. Okay, it's not as though they just are rinsed down the drain. And the reason they can do that is because of something known as coacervation. Active ingredients can remain behind on the skin from a cleanser. This particular cleanser, though, it really left my skin smooth and hydrated. And in theory, it may allow for subsequent skincare products applied to penetrate a little bit better. The reason I also use it in the morning is that at night when I wash my face, I want to wash my entire face, especially my eyelids. Okay, that's when I do my lid hygiene, remove makeup and wash my eyelids because seborrheic dermatitis can affect eyelids, the Demodex, eyelid hygiene's big. You don't want to get a blepharitis. But this particular cleanser is not good for washing your eyelids because it's an exfoliating cleanser. Eyelid skin's a lot more delicate. It could lead to dry eyelids. I never tried it actually on my eyelids. I just don't recommend using exfoliating cleansers on the eyelids. So loved that, fragrance free. And if you want to know more about that line, because the rest of the products in the line, except for this cleansing gel, have thiamidol. If you want to know more about that, check out my review of the line. I do a deep dive there. Now, this is a makeup product that I have gone through multiple tubes at this point, and I've even tried more expensive versions from other brands recently, and I've been like, why did I waste time on that? It's the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Glotion. This is essentially a tinted moisturizer. I just use a little bit on my cheeks, blended in with my concealer over sunscreen. So I like using this for just a little bit of color correction, a little bit of a glow. I'm wearing it currently, and the iron oxides in the tinted moisturizer, this one or whichever one, or if you use a tinted sunscreen, that too, can also offer some additional protection against visible light from the sun that drives hyperpigmentation. This just looks good. Okay, it looks good. It's fragrance free. It's moisturizing. What else can I say? It's not overly shimmery. It doesn't make you look like a copper pot. Some of these bronzing stuff things, it's like slow your roll there with that glitterati. No, it's really good. It's really good. All right, next up, one I recommend across multiple videos for multiple different skin concerns and skin issues and body issues, Panoxyl. Not only is the Panoxyl 10% acne wash on sale, but the 4% acne wash is on sale as well. Okay, so Panoxyl is a benzoyl peroxide cleanser. Benzoyl peroxide cleansers are great for body acne, for face acne, and they are really, really evidence-based for acne, okay? Benzoyl peroxide is very much a good ingredient for acne. However, it can be very drying. So using it in a cleanser reduces the risk of dryness because you're doing that short contact approach approach, yes, the benzoyl peroxide can be left behind, but it's just a little less drying. The other thing though that I want to mention here with the 10 versus the 4 is the 4% can be just as effective as the 10%, but the 4% tends to be much less drying. Now, that being said, where the 10% can come in and be very helpful is if you have thicker body acne, more cystic acne, you might find that with the thicker acne spots, the plaques, the acne nodules that are thicker, you might find that the 10% works better for you. So it's good to have that option, but it can be more drying. The other reason I like taking advantage of benzoyl peroxide in a wash form is that it is much less likely to bleach your fabrics as opposed to when you leave it on the skin. Benzoyl peroxide will bleach fabrics. If it gets on your hair, it'll bleach your hair. It does not bleach the skin, however. Now, the other reason to use benzoyl peroxide is actually for body odor. Use it as an underarm wash. I suggest the 4%, although the 10% will work, just maybe more drying. Wash under your armpits with it. It reduces the burden of bacteria that otherwise would break down your sweat and cause body odor. Likewise, wash your feet with it. Great in that regard. And then one we talk about a lot on my channel when we're talking about aging skin in particular, when we're talking about skin thinning, because it can improve both epidermal thickness and dermal thickness, is 12% or higher lactic acid, including the salt of lactic acid ammonium lactate, which is found in the Amlactin 12% daily fragrance-free lotion. Has a little bit of a milky-ish aroma. Some people find they don't care for that, but it is very good, and I'm always on the hunt for that because it's not that expensive, but we all want to save wherever possible. It can be used in the morning and Adapalene at night, and together you have, some synergy there for improving collagen and dermal thickness over time. And so I really like it for that reason. 12% lactic acid may also be helpful if you have corticosteroid-induced skin thinning, may help improve that as well. And let's not forget, it is amazing for dry, rough skin. It really gets in there and exfoliates it away, especially if you have rough and bumpy skin, otherwise known as keratosis pilaris. It's good for your nails as well, similar to how the carousel is good for toenails. It's good for your nails. Now, something I didn't mention when I talked about the Eucerin cleanser with the alpha hydroxy acids, but I'm going to mention here as well, alpha hydroxy acids, whether they be lactic, glycolic, mandelic, they can make you a bit more sensitive to the sun, more likely to get a sunburn. So as always, wear your sunscreen. Speaking of which, this past year, I've discovered Neutrogena came out with this collagen bank line, which kind of flies under the radar, and I think a lot of people side-eye it, like putting collagen on your skin does not put collagen back into your skin. Yeah, okay. But the thing about this line is that it's not the collagen that you're banking on here. It's actually the micropeptide, which peptides, like I said, depending on the peptide, they can improve collagen. This particular micropeptide, they've been working on for like 15 years, and it really does penetrate well into the skin, and they have a clinical trial with this peptide on actual human volunteers showing pretty notable improvement in wrinkle depth as well as sort of the jawline contour. So you get a chemical sunscreen plus the micropeptide in a fragrance-free moisturizer. Thank you, Neutrogena, for not putting fragrance in this product. No white cast. I have not gotten any kind of burny eyes with this particular sunscreen, but sometimes I do have a little bit of a tingle with this, and I kind of think it's the peptide trickling in. Maybe that's all in my head, but it doesn't last. It doesn't precipitate any kind of facial redness, but let me know if you've tried it, if you've experienced that, or if not, because I'd be interested to know your feedback on that as well. But I've really liked it. I love the finish. It's not overly dewy, and it, dries down without being heavy or oppressive. Makeup goes on over it really well. It's not water resistant. It's more of your everyday moisturizer with sunscreen. All right, guys, that about wraps up the 10 product recs from this sale. I will have a link in this description box to my sale picks list. You notice it's going to be much longer than 10 products, and in the list are other things that I frequently recommend as well, and I'll add to it anything I see that I didn't realize was on sale at the time this video was filmed. Come back tomorrow as well and check that link. It'll update, and that way you don't have to spend a lot of time surfing Amazon being like, what's good in the realm of skincare. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that it was helpful. If so, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.